Hello everybody, I'm Michael J, and today I will be showing you the difference between Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil Code Veronica X. I'm going to tell you exactly what you're missing out on, if anything. So let's get started. Alright, well let's start with the obvious differences, being the consoles that they were playable on. Resident Evil Code Veronica was a Sega Dreamcast exclusive and was later released as Code Veronica X for the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube, and it was also re-released for the Dreamcast, but it was a Japan-only exclusive. A little bit more history on Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Even later in 2011, it was re-released for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, along with Resident Evil 4, as part of the Biohazard Revival Selection, which, if you don't know what we call Resident Evil, Japan calls Biohazard. So that's that. Now, let's get into the cases. Alright, so as you can see, the front artwork for Resident Evil Code Veronica and Code Veronica X are pretty similar. However, the backs do differ. They have their differences, but that's kind of besides the point. We're going to push this one off to the side for now. This is the original Code Veronica for the Dreamcast. If we open it up, it is a double disc because the discs don't have as much storage as the PlayStation 2 discs do. So this is a double disc. Half the game is on the first disc, half the game is on the second disc, and then it's got some pretty sweet back artwork. And that's pretty much it. Standard CD case, double disc. Now, the PlayStation 2 version, we open it up. It is a single disc because the PlayStation 2 discs have more storage than the Dreamcast disc did. And the GameCube version of Code Veronica X is also a 2-disc because they are the little micro discs. So that's that. Now I'm going to stop boring you with physical stuff and get into the actual game differences.
Your identification number is WKD4496. Welcome to your new home.
Playing on screen right now, I've got the Resident Evil Code Veronica X opening scene because it's a badass scene. If you've played the game, you've seen it before. But let's talk a little bit about the gameplay differences between Code Veronica and Code Veronica X. Aside from a few mild graphical changes, which are hardly even noticeable, the only difference between the two is that in Code Veronica X, about 10 minutes of extra cutscenes featuring the main antagonist of the game, Albert Wesker, are featured in it that weren't featured in the original Code Veronica for the Sega Dreamcast. Aside from that, certain copies of Resident Evil Code Veronica X came with a bonus DVD titled Wesker's Report, which are a bunch of scenes of Wesker before and during the T-Virus of his shenanigans at the Umbrella Corporation. It's actually narrated by him off-screen as well, so if you don't have it, it's a pretty cool thing to have because it gives you a little bit more insight on Wesker, Umbrella Corporation, and the game itself. The gameplay doesn't actually change, though. You're not missing anything if you don't see those extra 10 minutes of cutscenes, because the story still has the same objective and the same characters. You still play as Claire Redfield and Steve Burnside, and the objective of the game is still to find Claire's brother, Chris Redfield, who was a surviving STARS agent who went missing after the T-Virus outbreak. So if you only have one or the other, you're not missing too much. Obviously, the better one to have is Code Veronica X because it gives you more insight on the game and the story mode itself and the T-Virus and Umbrella Corporations and Wesker and the characters and everything. But you're really not missing too much if you only have Code Veronica. So that's it. Now you guys know the differences. I gave you a little bit of history on it. If you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. And subscribe for more.